Well, of course, this time of the year, you know, the festive time, nothing better than homemade marzipan. So many, down the centuries, so many different recipes, so many different ways of achieving it like that. This is the one that's come up for us like that. It's a big quantity, and the reason it's a big quantity because we can break it down and use it in parts of a Christmas, or we can go for the whole hog, which is actually having enough to cover a decent sized Christmas cake. We're talking, you know, pretty large there like that. Obviously, you know, a good quality almond, and you need to get that perfume straight up, and you can see the quantity in there. All the almonds, you know, a good, well, half a kilo, but certainly a good pound of almonds ground down. The next thing then is, of course, the sweetening. Now, traditionally, now I can see, even my mother and my grandmother look at me and say, "Ooh, God, he's not using egg whites." You know, he's not using egg whites in his marzipan. And purely the reason for that, obviously, you know, although it does make a nice marzipan, the egg yolk and the white can go in, but of course it's raw. So unless you're actually cooking the marzipan these days with the egg, so I'm going to show you a different twist on there like that. With the sugar, what we normally have to do is it's almost like making pastry. It's half sugar to your almonds. So today we're using half a kilo, and so, you know, a quarter of a kilo of sugar. What I like to do is have a little bit of castor, because it's got a nice grain, so when you're rolling it, especially for the cake, you know, you've got a little bit of rugginess, and the rest then is a lovely soft white powder, which all goes in. So it's about a quarter of a kilo of the mixed sugars. I do that, and about 100 gram of a granulated or a little brown sugar, and already you can see the Christmas, that wonderful white Christmas coming through that dish. That goes into there. Now, for a nice bit of perfume in, what I do is I normally have a vanilla pod split in the sugar, and then we get some of that wonderful vanilla out. You can see that fresh vanilla going into there, and then as that dries over the days, because there's so much mass of white and brown, you'll actually lose a little black speckles in there when it goes. Now, at this stage now, normally you would add either some egg yolk for the colour, and a lot of the chefs would use an egg white. But for me, a little orange in your stocking or your sock, and that's what I'm going to use with this. Now, what I've got with this now, I've got that into a mix, combining the sugar with the vanilla, the two sugars, with the lovely ground almonds. And by just taking a little quantity of that, about a handful, and then it doesn't have to be, there's a bit more vanilla there that can go in. It doesn't have to be a satsuma. You can use an orange juice if you wish, but there's nothing nicer during the festive time than that. And even the smell of that is gorgeous. And of course that goes in, and that's your binding agent, that's your egg if you like. And that orange in there then, you know, will do without the egg. And then of course just a little mix round. You can use a spatula if you like, but the hands are nice because you get that lovely almond flavour, and it's really is. And I know if we had smell-o-vision now, the smell of this, you can smell the orange and the almonds, very traditional, gorgeous flavours. And before you know it, young Megan, I've got a nice little snowball I can almost ready for throwing your way. Well, Meg's a mould up, and in that you'll dip either into some amaretto and chocolate. If it's a little bit wet, of course, add a bit more grain. So, you know, you can do it as you want. If you want it really soft, if you're shaping, of course you want it a little bit firmer. But if you want it, you know, if you want to use it for stuffing inside the apple, in the apple dish like that, you can tighten it up with more of the almonds. So we just build that up, and then it can be rolled, of course, in the icing sugar. But there, you know, that lovely little pearl of Christmas. Look at how similar, and you can see the veins of orange and the little specks of black, almost like a little Welsh coaling. I'm going to roll that in there just to keep it going up, and very fresh. And of course it'll last for days and days in the fridge. As I said, if you're ready then to start rolling that, you can roll in a little bit of icing sugar, you know, with a pin, ready to cover your cake.